Так, зараз огляд матчу, в якому зіграє Марк Джей Вільямс.
Mark Williams will just be looking to maintain his standards of the afternoon so far. If he does, he's going to be moving through to ranking semi-final number 64. He's played superbly.
Також він в четвертьфіналах грає.
Interval can change the momentum around. Maybe interrupt the rhythm of the player on top.
І Хосейн Вафейн.
And we'll hope that that's the case because he's done very little wrong to trail 3-1.
І Марк Селбі. Марк Селбі зіграє сьогодні вечором свій четвертьфінальний матч. Так, Вільямс обіграв в четвертому раунді Зhengyi з рахунком 4-2. А Зhengyi обіграв Хайлонг з рахунком 4-1. Так, матч грається з 9 фреймів. Початок першого фрейму. Так, він нам забиває червоний шар. Ближню ліву лузу.
Opting just to tuck in behind the brown.
Вихід на чорний шар. Так, дальній удар Вільямса. Вільямс набирає 3 очка в першому фреймі.
Alex Chrisan declares touching ball. That means, of course, that Fan is deemed to have already hit a red, so can just play away from the cluster, try and leave the cue ball in an awkward spot for Williams.
І Вільямс виграє перший фрейм і веде в цьому матчі з рахунком 1-0. Лишається йому 4 фрейми до перемоги в цьому матчі, щоб вийти в півфінальну стадію турніра British Open. Так, початок другого фрейму.
Another delicate shot from Williams. He's got such a lovely touch.
Six. Seven.
Williams is looking forward, I'm sure, to the first ranking events back in China since COVID. He's qualified for both Wuhan and the International Championship. Wuhan coming up in
10.
Just over a couple of weeks' time. Became the oldest player to make a professional maximum break at the English Open last season, and that's starting on Monday in Brentwood. Was 47 at the time. He turns 49 next March. But on this evidence, well, he's as good as ever.
15.
Could not have cued any better so far today. That cannon hasn't quite gone to plan. So just a safety by the looks of it. It's a huge frame, clearly, for Fan. If he can win it, then he's right back in contention. But 4-1 down with the way Williams is queuing would be a huge ask for him. This match has only been going just over an hour. Just to put that into context, it's considerably less playing time so far today for 4 and a bit frames than it was for the final frame last night between Selby and Gilbert. Fan will be concerned, having missed the red with safety in mind. Is it actually safe? It looks as though Williams can pop this. And he's not missing those this afternoon.
1. Six. Seven. Thirteen. 14. 21. 22.
'So an opportunity for Williams to turn the screw in this match. 43 in front already.
29. 30.
Can win this frame without having to worry about the awkward reds on the side cushion. And close to the top cushion.
30.
And they're providing a bit of insurance for him should things go wrong. So very much in the box seat here in a bid to go 3 up with 4 to play. Williams' 4th
36.
break over 50 so far this afternoon. He really set the tone in the opening frame with that magnificent total clearance at 138, the best break of the tournament so far. Could bag him an extra £5,000, although you'd expect it to be beaten. Very rare for the high break not to be in the 140s these days. So this black and 1 more red, and it's going to be 4-1. Fan paying the price for leaving the red from distance. A relatively easy one by Williams standards. He made no mistake, and this is the result.
50.
This match is flying along at a fair old pace. Been well under an hour and a half's play. Already Williams is a frame away from booking his place in the semis. And I doubt he's cued any better than this since he won this title just over 2 years ago. Made the Masters final last season, of course, losing narrowly to Judd Trump. Fan Zhengyi has done very little wrong, really.
66.
He's just been blitzed by the excellence of Williams.
$67.
And we're going to see a second century of the afternoon from the great man. Every chance.
74.
There was a time in his career when I don't think he was that much bothered about centuries. Often you'd see him get to the winning line in a frame and then basically concede the remainder of it. But I think he's a bit more hungry for centuries at this stage of his career. He doesn't know how much longer he's going to be at the top of the game. And he's determined to savour every moment. He loves competing. He knows that he's not always going to play this well. But he also knows that when he can produce his best, it's a match for anyone in the game. So even though he's got nothing left to prove, he will be
87.
very motivated to add to his already extraordinary CV. And no one's queuing better than Williams
91.
in this tournament right now.
$96.
This for the second century of the afternoon. $102. Magnificent. Another superb clearance from Mark Williams. 3 World Championships and 2 British Opens. So Williams is going for a hat-trick this week. It's now the best of 9 frames, the first of 5 to go through to the semi-finals tomorrow.
Thank you. The first frame, Mark Williams to break.
It's Mark Williams against Fan Zhengyi. Quarterfinals day at the Kazoo British Open, the first of 5 frames for a place in the semi-finals tomorrow. And this is just their second meeting. Williams having won their only previous encounter at the German Masters. That was back in 2019. A 5-3 victory, but of course Fan has come a long way since then, including that extraordinary performance to win the European Masters. Just over 18 months ago now. Beat the likes of Kyron Wilson and Dave Gilbert. What a crushing defeat for Gilbert yesterday. Going in off the deciding black against Mark Selby at nearly 1:45 in the morning local time. Fan also beat Graham Dott, and then, of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan in a decider. An extraordinary achievement, one of the biggest upsets in snooker history. Mark Williams first won this title back in 1997. As we look at the Cheltenham crowd, which again is sizable. He beat Stephen Hendry in the late 90s to win this for the first time. Of course, the tournament disappeared from the calendar for 15 years, returned in 2021, and Williams won that against Gary Wilson. And that is his most recent ranking title success, just over 2 years ago. He's had a few near misses since then, including last season in the Masters final when he lost narrowly to Judd Trump, but still a terrific competitor. He turns 49 next March, Williams, and that is a typically good long-range pot to get the afternoon underway. The winner of this will play either He Guojiang or Hussein Vafai.
8.
Tomorrow will be over the best of 11 frames, first to 6 to get to the final. Apologies for the lack of scoreboard at the moment. It's a technical issue which we're looking to fix as soon as possible. Williams has got this far courtesy of wins over Penyi Song 4-1, Steve Maguire by 4 frames to 2, and Gary Wilson and Ding Junhui by the same score, 4-2. Ding was actually 2-0 up against Williams
15.
yesterday and playing well. Williams scrapped his way to winning frames 3 and 4 and ended up winning 4 on the bounce. When he won this title 2 years ago, he actually, by his own admission, didn't play that well for most of the tournament, but found a way to win, and that is one of Williams' great assets. Even when he's not playing particularly well, he can use his tremendous snooker ring craft to get the job done, and when, of course, he hits top form, well,
23.
he's one of the best of all time, so a lot to fall back on in his game. He did produce the goods that year in the final when it really mattered against Gary Wilson, played very well in the title match. And he'd love to make it a hat-trick this weekend.
30. One. 38. 39. $45. $46. $51. $52. $57. $58. $65. $66.
What a fluent start this is from the 3 times world champion. Just needs this black to make sure. 67 still on the table. Nothing that Zhengyi can do about this. It was a terrific opening red from Williams.
$74. $81. $82.
So Mark Williams closing in on yet another century. He's passed 600 for his career this season, one of only 9 players to make in excess of 600. And this will be his 14th of the campaign already. Of course, he made the final of the Championship League, the first ranking event of this new season, losing to Sean Murphy in the title match.
90.
But this is some start from Williams. So often you see these great players make a statement early in a big match like this. And that is what Williams is producing here. Apologies again for the absence of a scoreboard right now. But you don't really need one in this frame because it's been all Williams.
97.
This then for century number 603. And he's never looked like missing.
104.
This crowd have certainly been entertained this week. We had high drama last night, well after midnight. Mark Selby winning on the final black against Dave Gilbert. Gilbert going in off that black to hand Selby the victory I think the final frame lasted in the region of an hour and 20 minutes.
111.
And it was exactly the same story on the neighbouring table with He Guo Zhang knocking out the informed Barry Hawkins, who's already won the European Masters this season. There is Jo, Mark Williams' wife. One of his sons along to watch the action as well this week.
16.
Hay winning on the final black as well, and it was a terrific black, a cut back into this green pocket.
120.
So it really was thrilling stuff in the small hours of this morning.
125.
Williams would prefer to win with something to spare this afternoon, and the way he's queuing, it could be a tough one for Fan Zhengyi. Early days, of course, but it doesn't get any better than this.
131.
The black for a 138 total clearance to start the quarter-final. Brilliant. Magnificent from Mark Williams. What a break that was.
Mark Williams.
Absolutely immaculate. The crowd loved it. Williams would have been very happy with it as well. Fan Zhengyi less so. The 3 times world champion and double British Open champion leads by 1-0. Over on table 2, as you can see, He Guo Zhang on the cusp of clinching the opening frame. Hossein Vafaei having missed one when he got his chance. And with just the colours remaining, it's surely going to be 1-0 to Hay. Winner of that to play the winner of our match on table 1 in the semi-finals tomorrow.
Thank you. Second frame. Finishing to break.
Fan Zhengyi breaking off in frame 2. What a start from Mark Williams. Absolutely magnificent century. And happily we have the scoreboard back. Not only was it a century from Williams, it was a total clearance. And it was also the highest break of the tournament, a 138, eclipsing Daniel Wells' 136 against Jordan Brown. And he's at it again. Well, he couldn't have landed any more awkwardly there. He was just hoping for a better cannon to stay on the black, but he's just nestled against the red. Very awkward cueing. Brilliant. Long-range pot again from Williams. There is a £5,000 bonus for the highest break of the tournament. That was the 41st century we've had this week. And a total of 52 for the tournament, including qualifying. The 603rd of Williams' extraordinary career. But frustration that he didn't get a kindly kiss.
Mike Williams 1.
Fan has got here, courtesy of wins over Mark Davis 4-3, Ross Muir 4-1, Rod Lawler 4-2, and last evening the World Amateur Champion Ma Hai Long by 4 frames to 1. Williams able to clip the red in that Fan missed from distance. Can he now knock the black in to go with it? He's looking very sharp in the early running, Williams.
8.
Not clean, but it dropped. Which perhaps was something of a surprise to Williams, because these corner pockets have been pretty unforgiving this week, particularly when you catch the near jaw, but
16.
it's just slipped in.
$17. $24. $25. $32. $33.
Well, this has got to be a concern for Fan Zhengyi. It's very early days in this quarter-final, and of course there's a bit more room to manoeuvre now. It's the best of 9 frames, the first of 5, as opposed to the best of 7, but the way Williams has started, and he'll settle for that cannon. It's already looking likely to be 2-0 from here, with Fan having barely had a shot.
39. $46. 47. $52. $53.
Again, not clean, but it went in. That's all that matters. Williams just a few pots away from doubling his lead. Williams appearing in his 109th ranking quarter-final.
60. $61. $68.
Williams would have preferred not to have the cannon, but it's academic. He's on the red anyway. And Fan already needed a snooker. I'm surprised he's missed that one.
Mike Williams, 68.
So there are 67 left. Fan does need a 4-point snooker, but Williams will be annoyed to miss that. He would have liked to have cleared the table again. Not least because it would have kept Fan in his chair for a second straight frame. And now he's got the opportunity at the very least to pot a few, but it is just the one snooker, so there's definitely still some hope. And Williams knows it, and he's irritated by that. Because he could easily there have mopped up the remaining balls for another century, and in the process made sure that Fan was still ice cold as regards table time. And you can see he's irritated. He knows all of that. He knows he's just led his opponent into the match here through that mistake on the red.
16. $17. $24. $25. $32.
But Fan has missed the red.
Zhengyi, 32.
That is surely going to be end of frame, so he'll be a little annoyed not to have made more of that little reprieve from Williams. There was still the opportunity to get back into the frame. That opportunity is now evaporated.
1. $5. 7. $10. $14.
Glimpse of Mark Williams' coach there, Lee Walker. He's been with Williams for several years now, and it's clearly a partnership that's paid dividends for this man.
25 and frame, Mark Williams.
Mark Williams clears to the pink, and he has been completely dominant so far. After 2 frames, it's been all Williams, and the 3 times world champion moves into a 2-0 lead with 5 the target. So while we wait for frame 3 to get underway on table 1, we can nip over to table 2, where He Guozhang, who scored that dramatic final black victory last night at around 1:45 in the morning against Barry Hawkins, has taken the opening frame against Hossein Vafai of Iran with a break of 96. But as you can see, Vafai back at the table after He got in early in this second frame. Not quite what he was looking for in the way of a cannon. I think the red has gone beyond the angle where it can be potted into the left centre of a fight. We'll keep you up to date with developments there. Just checking on table 2 again, where Hossein Vafai is playing He Guozhang. He, who of course qualified for the tour for the first time this season, courtesy of the Asia Oceania Q School. And he took the opening frame with a break of 96, early stages of frame 2. The winner of that to play the winner of this. Mark Williams has been nigh on perfect so far. He missed a red when he'd already clinched the frame, barring a snooker in the previous frame. A break of 68 to go with that magnificent 138 total clearance in the opener, the highest break of the tournament. So far, so very good for Williams. Fan potted a few balls at the end of that second frame, but to no avail. As you can see, Fan Q's very much under his left eye. Playing in just his 3rd ranking quarter-final. As mentioned, Williams is 109th, so there is a huge golf in experience at the sharp end of events like this. Oh, that is just too good. Another superb bit of cueing from Williams. Don't know what he had for breakfast, but it's working for him at the moment. Not missed a ball in live play, and frankly hasn't looked like missing one. The red he missed at the end of the second frame, as mentioned, was once Fan needed a snooker.
9. 16. Seventeen. 24. 25.
'Mark Williams remains in 5th place in the all-time list of ranking event winners with 24 titles. Only Ronnie O'Sullivan, Stephen Hendry, John Higgins and Steve Davis have more.
30.
Williams is 4 behind Davis, who of course is long retired, so wouldn't be a major surprise at all if he went on to eclipse that tally of 28. He's currently 1 ahead of both Judd Trump and Neil Robertson. 2 ahead of Mark Selby, who of course is still involved in this tournament. Trump and Robertson are long gone. But he hasn't won one since he won this title over 2 years ago, so he would be delighted to claim a hat-trick of British Opens this weekend. And the way he's queuing, no reason why he shouldn't.
39.
He just potted that badly, as they say. In other words, it wasn't right in the centre, it was off the near jaw, and that's why the cue ball has travelled further than he wanted. It was a thinner pot than intended. Had he got it right in the middle of the hole, he'd have been nicely on a baulk colour. He can still pot this brown, but it's slightly trickier. Although he has potted the brown, positional play was that much trickier because of where he landed, so it's about the first mistake that Williams has made. He's still in a strong position in this 3rd frame though, 43 points to the good.
Mark Williams, 43.
A very useful lead for Williams, and Fan at the moment just can't get involved in the match. Still only 22 years of age, Fan. He turned pro back in 2018. Made the semi-finals of the Champion of Champions last season, which of course was the result of his stunning European Masters victory. Lost out to Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 4. He also qualified for the World Championship, beat Stephen Maguire in the final qualifying round before losing to Mark Allen, who went on to make the semi-finals. Oh, wow, I thought that was in. It was mighty close. Mighty close. So Fan gets an opportunity to try and get a foothold in this quarter-final. So far, he's been frozen out by the excellence of his opponent.
Eight.
A little unlucky, looking to split that cluster of reds open. Just missed the edge of it.
14.
So that's end the break, it would seem.
Zhengyi 14.
29 Williams lead. Even though he didn't win a tournament last season, Williams, he still picked up £250,000 in prize money. Made the semi-finals of the European Masters, quarter-final appearances in the home nations events in Northern Ireland and in England. And of course the English Open gets underway in Brentwood in Essex on Monday. Eurosport will have full coverage from the first ball to the last. Again, very, very close, and what a positive shot, because he knew if he was missing it, he was leaving Fan a good chance, but backed himself and got very close. He is cueing exceptionally well, but this is a chance that Fan must surely now take. Can't afford to fall 3-0 behind, really, with the way Williams is cueing. It'll be a long road back from there. Hasn't got the action in the cue ball he would have liked. This black is a little awkward. We've seen a lot of missed cutback blacks like this throughout the week here in Cheltenham. Cued it well. Is he on a red though? I think he can just about get through to this red into the opposite corner. Maybe a trace of side.
Nine.
Hasn't qualified for the first ranking event back in China since COVID, which is the Wuhan Open coming up in just over 2 weeks' time. But he has qualified for November's International Championships
16.
in Tianjin. Made the quarterfinals in Shanghai, the Invitational Shanghai Masters. A couple of good wins there against Gary Wilson and Mark Allen. Lost to Neil Robertson in the last 8. And that's another good bit of cueing, and he's promoted the red right over the pocket.
24.
So right back in this frame, Fan.
45. $30. $31.
And it's looking increasingly likely that the red glued to the top cushion will be the key ball of this frame. Everything else very potable.
$37. $38.
The lead is 16, but it's all about this red.
45.
Has to commit fully to it. Beautifully executed. That was perfect from Fan, and this has been a good response. Mark Williams took on the long red this time. He didn't get it. And now a great chance for Fan to get on the scoreboard. He only needs the yellow. Williams would need a snooker. And this is a reminder of how good he can be.
53.
He's taken these exceptionally well.
5.
And what a start to this quarter-final. Mark Williams with a brilliant tournament high break. Total clearance of 138 in the opening frame. 68 in the second. Fan hadn't got a look in at that stage. And Williams building a 43-point lead in this frame before running out of position. Took on a long red. Fan got his chance. And having barely had a shot of note in the first couple of frames, and indeed in the first half of this one,
62.
He's taken his chance quite superbly.
67. $73.
The former world under-21 champion and European Masters champion of last year, showing his class. That was a superb clearance from Fan Zhengyi. So a brilliant start to the afternoon's entertainment on table one. What about table two? Well, as we know, He Guozhang started brilliantly with a break of 96, and he's added the second frame as well. Same for Fai. Former shootout champion would have started that match as favourite, but then again, Barry Hawkins was favourite last night and lost on the final black to He, who's having a great week. He knocked out Kyron Wilson, not least here in Cheltenham. And he's made the perfect start to the afternoon. No breaks in that second frame. But for Fai with his work cut out already. Very early stages of frame number 3. Remember, it's 5. The target to go through to the semi-finals tomorrow, which are over the best of 11 frames, first to 6. He Guozhang on the tour for the first time this year, and already impressing with his composure and his skill on the table. He's made a better start against Hossein Vafai. A 96 break in the opening frame. He's doubled his lead. Fine, looking to hit back in frame 3. Very early stages of that one. Clever safety shot that was from Hussein Bafai. I think he's got the snooker. Tap on the table from his opponent. Cleverly worked out that safety.
Zhengyi to break.
Well, that was a quite superb 80 clearance from Fan Zhengyi when you consider he barely had a shot of consequence for 2.5 frames. The way he took his chance from 43 behind to halve the deficit, very impressive, and just a message to Mark Williams that, as well as Williams has cued so far, Fan has not been intimidated by that. Just their second meeting, remember, their first back in 2019. That was the German Masters, but obviously Fan a different proposition now than he was then. Well, that is another tremendous bit of cueing from Williams. He got mighty close to potting the red halfway through the previous frame when he was 43 in front. No mistake with that one. This the last frame before the mid-session interval. Of course, we haven't had intervals so far this week with the best of 7 frame format, but now we're up to the best of 9. It's the usual 15-minute break after 4 frames.
Thank you. 7. Eight. $15. 16.
'Alex Crisant from Romania, our referee for this quarter-final.
24. 31.
Having to sit in his seat again, courtesy of that superb long red from Williams. He's done very little wrong so far, Fan, to lose the 2 frames he has.
32.
It's just that Williams has been nigh on immaculate. And when Fan got his chance, he couldn't have taken it any better. So the standard so far in this match has been outstanding and continues to be so.
37. 38. 5. $46.
Became the first left-handed world champion back in 2000 when he came from 13-7 down in the final to his compatriot Matthew Stevens to win 18-16, and then of course regained the title 3 years later by the same score against Ken Doherty.
53.
And then a full 15 years after that emerged the winner in arguably the greatest world final we've ever seen against his great rival John Higgins, 18-16 once again. And that, of course, was the year after he'd failed to qualify for the Crucible and was seriously contemplating retirement. His wife, Jo, who, as we saw earlier, is here in the arena, talked him out of it. Oh, he's missed the cannon, though. Had that gone well,
61.
it was looking like 3-1 for sure, as it is. There's still 83 on the table.
Mike Williams, 61.
Clever shot from Williams, just pushing a red into an awkward spot on the side cushion. Another good break from him, 61, but not quite a frame-winning one. Williams get through to pop this red? Looks as though he can.
One.
It's going to need another red to make the frame safe. Red in the colour, in fact. Well, what a beautiful shot that is. Talk about a controlled cannon.
5.
Didn't hit it with any great pace, but he knew if he cannoned them correctly, they'd fan open, and that is surely end of frame, and will set the seal on a very satisfactory afternoon's work so far from Mark Williams. This is as well as he's cued all week, I think. At times he's had to scrap for his victories. Gary Wilson had opportunities in the 4-2 loss that he suffered at the hands of Williams, which of course was a repeat of the final 2 years ago. And Zhengyi started much the better yesterday, 2-0 up on Williams. Williams managed to graft his way back into contention in that one before finishing strongly, but today he could barely have cued any better from the get-go. Even the frame he lost, he didn't really do anything wrong in.
21.
And Fan has played pretty well, but has only got one frame to show for it. The standard has been excellent. And this little mini session of 4 frames has flown by.
29.
Terrific fluency from both players, but it's Williams who's
30.
held sway.
$37. 43 and
Breaks of 61 and 43. And that little mini session in Mark Williams' favour, and how well has he played. He started with a 138 total clearance, a further run of 68 in the second frame, a brilliant response in the third from Fan, but it's Williams who leads 3-1. Fabulous entertainment for this capacity crowd here. And sat out frame 4 as well. But nothing easy to go at here for Williams. There's confirmation. Williams hogging the table, almost 3/4 of the table time in his favour. When things are going your way and you're playing as well as he is, you tend to get the luck as well, and that was a big fluke for Williams. It might just win in the match. The cue ball nearly got in the way. All things were going on with that shot, but the end result is that Williams is close to sealing frame and match hit.
8.
And that stroke of luck aside, you have to say it's been all skill.
9. Sixteen. 17.
75 left, so this black, another red, and another colour. And Williams will have got the job done in
24.
the blink of an eye. Any colour will do off this red. Fan Zhengyi would need snookers. Well, what a performance it's been. Yes, he got the fluke just now, but overall this has been close to immaculate from Williams. One of the best displays that he's put on since he last won this title. It's been irresistible snooker from the Welshman. And the crowd know that the game's up for Fan, who can console himself with the knowledge that
32.
Mark Williams can't play much better than this. And he is going to be
33.
a major handful for the remainder of this tournament. He's making it look ridiculously easy out there. It's been a good week for Fan,
38.
but it's going to end in disappointment this afternoon. And from the moment that Williams stroked in that superb 138 total clearance at the start of this match, you knew that he was in the mood to do some serious damage, and goodness me, has he done. A quite brilliant performance from the 3 times world champion Mark Williams, who's going for a 3rd British Open title this weekend, and if he plays like that in the semis and then in the final, he will take an awful lot of stopping. Fan Zhengyi didn't do much wrong. Williams was just way too good, and he cruises through to the last 4 of the British Open here in Cheltenham at the Centaur Arena by 5 frames to 1. What a performance this has been from Mark Williams, and poor old Fan Zhengyi has spent most of the afternoon admiring it from his chair. Just one more frame for Williams. Fan has got to win the remaining 4. That is a tall order indeed with the way his opponent's queuing, but you just never know in this game. Now, while we enjoy the snooker this afternoon on this 5th day of 7 in Cheltenham, let's just mark your card for some cycling coming up on Eurosport as well. It is the Pro Stage 4. Slight change of pace from the snooker. 191 kilometres this particular stage. And you can enjoy that live here on Eurosport. A magnificent display so far from the 3 times world champion Mark Williams. Breaks of 138, a total clearance in the opening frame, the highest break of the tournament, followed by 68 in the second, 61 in the 4th frame, and 109 just now in the 5th for his 604th career century and his 15th already this season, to put him on the cusp of his 64th ranking semi-final appearance. 4-1 up on Zhengyi.
Thank you.
And it
Game 6.
bears repeating that Fan has not done much wrong. In fact, the frame he won, he produced a brilliant 80 clearance out of nowhere, really. He just hasn't had much of a look in. I think Williams feels right now he can pod anything. He's applied so much pressure to his opponent just with the way he's been knocking the balls in, the pace at which he's been stroking them in as well. He's really got on with it. And again, slight cause for concern there for Zhengyi. Catching the jaw of the pocket, happily for him. Williams can't see that red, but he can see this one. And he's done it again.
1.
Williams has obviously played well this week to get this far, but this is a different level altogether he's producing in this match. He's found a few gears that most players don't have.
6.
And the crowd are loving it. He's off and running again. These are very concerning moments for Zhengyi.
14. $15.
Well, it's not too bad. He's opened the reds nicely and he's landed
22.
on this one to the right centre pocket. And he's also got perfectly on the
23.
blue.
28. $29.
I'd like to see Williams' pot success, never mind his rest pot success. It's got to be close to perfection in terms of balls in live play. He's barely missed anything.
6. $37.
This time he's just a little shy of prime position on the blue. He'd like to have been an inch or two above it. Just for easy position on his next red. So a slightly more challenging red to keep the break going.
42.
And that was enough to make the red missable. So
Mike Williams, 42.
a surprise reprieve for Fan Zhengyi. And the last time he was in this position, he conjured an 80 break to close the gap to 2-1. A rare error from Williams in sight of victory. What can Fan do with this chance? It might be his last if he doesn't take it. Oh, and he hasn't taken it. Now he's trusting to luck.